Hey guys, welcome to our weekly news show here on Backstage with Millionaires. I'm Caleb, your host, and today we're going to be talking about Smaash's premature death, Jio's ambitious smartphone plans, Paytm's response to the Google Play Store ban, ShareChat's ever-increasing prosperity, all of the latest funding news, and more coming up right after this. Alright, so first up in the news, India's popular gaming arcade, Smaaash Entertainment, which operated 41 gaming centers around the country, is shutting down permanently. While it was still operating, Smaaash enabled thousands of Indians to play games like cricket, football, bowling, go-karting, and it also enabled a lot of people to experience VR for the first time. The company was forced to make this decision to shut down after months of lockdowns kept people from going to these gaming centers. And even though lockdowns have pretty much been lifted across the country, people are still hesitant to go to places like gaming arcades and cinemas, and unfortunately Smaaash was unable to raise any funds to keep themselves afloat. In an email to his employees, Smaash's founder Shripal Morakia said, "I am sorry that despite my best efforts, I have failed in my efforts to save the company from its premature death." Back in 2012, Shripal had started Smaaash with an 80,000 square foot gaming zone in Mumbai. Like I mentioned earlier, over the years, he had managed to increase the number of Smaaash gaming zones to 41. And these 41 locations were spread out across a 6.5 lakh square feet space in 19 cities. And up until the point when the pandemic hit India back in March, things were going pretty well. In January of this year, the company announced that they had managed to grow their revenues in the calendar year of 2019 to 300 crore rupees, or $40.5 million. And they were expecting footfall to increase further in 2020 by 10%. That is until the pandemic happened. Okay, so quick community announcement regarding the next live stream. First of all, big thanks to all 113 of you guys who voted. That was really helpful for us. We really didn't know when to schedule these live streams because of IPL. It makes it a little bit complicated, but thankfully you guys turned up, you voted, and the answer is pretty clear. A majority of you guys want the next live stream and all future live streams that are going to be happening during the IPL season to be at 11 a.m. on Sunday. So that's when it's going to be, 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. Make sure to tune in, bring your questions, anything that you have about entrepreneurship and startups, and Prithvi will do the best that he can to answer all of those. And even if you don't have any questions, just tune in anyways, because I guarantee that you'll learn something. And besides the live stream, there's one other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about before we jump back into the news. If you're watching this video on Saturday morning, then it means that we're probably sitting at somewhere around 9,100 subscribers. That means that we're just 900 subscribers away from reaching 10,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone for us. Like we started this channel more than a year and a half ago. And if you had told us that, at some point we would be reaching 10,000 subscribers, we always imagined that probably we would reach that milestone, but it always seemed so far off in the distance. It seemed unachievable, but now it's like so close. So if you guys could help us to sort of bridge that gap and, just share this video with your friends, share some of our other videos with friends, family, colleagues, fellow students, whatever it is, to help us get to that 10,000 subscriber milestone. It would mean the world to us. And in case you guys needed some form of incentive, I'm sure you don't, but in case you did, we are going to be posting a very special video, the first of its kind. You've never seen something like this on Backstage with Millionaires before, where we're going to be talking about our stories and the story of Backstage with Millionaires. How did it come to be? How did it materialize? How did we all come together? Me specifically coming from Canada and moving to India. Why did that happen? How did that happen? Prithvi, how did he, start up in the first place? How did he discover entrepreneurship? And what does his entrepreneurial journey look like? And then also, how did Varun come in and join our team as well? So look forward to that. Help us out, reach that 10,000 subscriber milestone. And we'll be sharing that video the minute that we hit 10,000 subscribers. All right, next up in the news, let's talk about Jio's ambitious plans for the future of India. So back in July, when Jio partnered with Google to build a value-engineered Android-based smartphone operating system, the company had said that they wanted to put a smartphone in the hand of every Indian that didn't have one. And if reports are to be believed, then it looks like Jio is already working towards achieving that goal. Jio has asked their local manufacturers to ramp up production as they're looking to manufacture 200 million smartphones, that's 20 crore smartphones, over the course of the next 2 years. This smartphone, of course, will be running Android, and with it, Jio is targeting the 350 million Indians, that's 35 crore Indians, who previously couldn't afford smartphones and are still using feature phones. So how much is this smartphone going to cost if Jio intends for it to replace feature phones? Well, believe it or not, the estimated price point for this smartphone is just 4,000 rupees, or approximately $54, which would make it one of the least expensive smartphones in the world. And of course, in true Jio fashion, they'll be trying to add even more value to these smartphones by bundling them with their affordable data and calling plans. Now, I should say that this is not Jio's first foray into the mobile segment. In the past, Jio had tried selling different variants of its feature phone, JioPhone, but they didn't have a lot of success. But I sense that this time around, things are different. Firstly, Reliance Industries, which is Jio's parent company, just finished, and actually I'm not even sure if they're finished, raising a bunch of money. And they're now the first Indian company to surpass a market cap of $200 billion. Secondly, among Reliance Industries investors are massive tech giants like Google and Facebook that have a vested interest in capturing the Indian market. And so they're gonna do everything that they possibly can to make sure that Jio succeeds in dominating the digital ecosystem of India. And then thirdly, Jio is partnering with local smartphone manufacturers. These manufacturers are in direct competition with Chinese manufacturers like Vivo, Oppo, and Xiaomi. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Jio also gets support from the Indian government, which is trying to reduce India's reliance upon China. Alright, so next up in the news, Vijay Shekhar Sharma is speaking out against Google. Check this out.
We run a campaign where when you pay, you get stickers. And once you collected 5 stickers, you get a cashback. And Google thinks this is gambling, this is casino, this is Paytm of a different degree, where getting a cashback is the violation and calling it a gambling.
So according to Vijay, Paytm was banned because Google considered their cricket-themed cashback offer to be gambling. So Paytm launched this cashback campaign in preparation for IPL. And like most of these cashback campaigns, users could collect stickers and scratch cards, which could then help them to earn UPI cashback. And the first thing that really stands out here, and if you've used digital payments here in India, then you'll know what I'm talking about, is that this is not new. Cashback campaigns are just a part of digital payments here in India. They always have been. It's how these companies get people onto their digital payments platforms. And the funny thing is that Google is famous for this here in India. On Google Pay, there are tons of scratch cards, and they even had their own cricket-themed cashback campaign that was happening at the same time as Paytm's. And that's why Vijay Shekhar Sharma decided to speak out about this. It was just blatantly unfair. It was a dirty move on the part of Google. They did it the day before IPL. They didn't give Paytm any notice whatsoever, and they had their own campaign running on the side. Yes, Paytm is the most valuable startup in India, but at the same time, this is definitely a David and Goliath situation. And I really hope that this is just a one-off thing, sort of a weird call from Google, and they'll end up regretting that they made the decision to ban Paytm, even if it was just temporary. But if this isn't a one-off thing, if they're setting a precedent here, then I really do think that India's startup ecosystem needs to watch out. And I'm not even saying that Google needs to change their policies here. I'm not saying that the Play Store is bad or the guidelines are bad or their policies are bad. Google can do whatever they want. It's India that needs to change. It's the startup ecosystem that needs to stop relying on these huge companies. I don't know what the solution is. I don't really think that there is a solution, especially with Jio coming in, they're backed by Google. And like I said earlier, 200 million Android smartphones, right? So Google has a monopoly, and I don't know if there's any way around that, to be honest. But anyways, let's move on to the next news item. Something a little bit more positive here, ShareChat and its ESOPs. And if you don't know what ESOPs are, we made a video specifically about that. You can go check that out up here. But basically, they've added $14 million, that's 103.5 crore rupees, to their ESOP pool, taking the total to $35 million or 259 crore rupees. The company said that 50% additional ESOPs have been allotted as a bonus to employees who already held shares in the company. Also, the company said that it had expanded ESOPs to every employee on its payroll, which also includes the administrative staff that didn't own any ESOPs prior. The startup said that the decision was taken in order to recognize the hard work behind the growth achieved by both ShareChat and its recently launched short video app, Moj. This is really good news for ShareChat's employees who have stuck with the company all through the years and are now starting to see the benefits of their hard work. All right, moving on to some funding news now. Reliance Retail has raised 5,550 crore rupees, that's $750.7 million from American private equity firm KKR for a 1.28% equity stake. With this investment, Reliance Retail now has a pre-money valuation of 4.21 lakh crore rupees or $57 billion. All right, next up in the funding news, Indian edtech unicorn Byju has raised an undisclosed amount of funds from BlackRock, Sands Capital, and Alkeon Capital. These funds are part of an ongoing funding round, which was announced earlier this month and is expected to rake in a total of $500 million or 3,700 crore rupees for the edtech giant. The company has been using these latest funds to grow inorganically and enter new markets like the United States. All right, next up in the funding news, online gaming startup Mobile Premier League, or MPL, has raised $90 million, that's 665 crore rupees, from RTP Global, SIG Global, MDI Ventures, Pegasus Tech Ventures, Sequoia Capital India, Go Ventures, and Base Partners. With these latest funds, the company has now raised a total of $130.5 million, or 964 crore rupees, and it's valued at $450 million, or 3,325 crore rupees. With these latest funds, MPL is looking to expand into overseas markets like South Korea, Japan, and North America. And they're also going to be strengthening their platform by adding live streaming and other audio and video content features. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button and also hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, and I will see you in the next one.